Hi there and welcome to the Irish Media Network. I'm Paul Fisher. Alongside me is Liz Bedeau. We have a lot of interesting stories today, so why don't you let us know about them?
Well, Paul, we're going to give an update on the Oxford High School shooting that happened earlier last week in Michigan.
We also have a story on a white Christmas in Hawaii. Hawaii is getting a lot more snow than they are used to. More on that later.
And we're also going to talk about the Irish boys basketball team and how they traveled to Memphis yesterday. They currently remain undefeated and hope to keep their winning streak. Today is Thursday, December 9th, and we'll be right back with your 5-day forecast right after this.
Now, that's all for your weather today. Paul, what's going on inside at Knoxville Catholic?
Yesterday, the 5-0 boys basketball team traveled to Memphis, where they stayed the night. They will continue to stay the night in Memphis until Saturday, where they play teams like Memphis East, Bartlett, and Memphis University School. I had a chance to talk to starting point guard B.J. Edwards. Why don't we take a look at that?
It's a good atmosphere. We're really trying to go undefeated the whole season. It feels good to win. That's really the main goal, just win every game. Everybody's ready to go. Everybody packing up their bags tonight and stuff. I feel like we're just going to have fun this week and ready to play. Yeah, for this tournament, just most excited to go out there and play in front of the best people in the state. Tennessee played some good Memphis teams, so that's what I'm excited for this year. And then for the whole season, just being with my brothers and teammates and just hopefully winning the state championship.
As BJ said, they're looking to remain undefeated and beat the best teams in the state. If you missed the games are in the link on all of our social medias. Now we'll be on to John with the Angel Tree.
Welcome to Knoxville, Tennessee. The Knoxville Catholic Fighting Irish host the Memphis University School Owls and the TSSAA state quarterfinals. Catholic had back-to-back victories in the Dr. Pepper Classic, while MUS fell short to undefeated Christian Brothers. Before we get underway, we have two key players you want to watch out for in tonight's matchup.
For MUS, we have number 23, Rashad King, picking up where he left off on his first team freshman All-American. The sophomore has been outstanding for the Owls this year. MUS's 6'6" power forward has showcased his talent and been a main contributor for the Owls' scoring. Look out for King to try and take advantage of Catholic's first half struggles and capitalize on as many points as he can.
And for Catholic, we've got the number 5 of Brian Edwards Jr. The senior has continuously dominated on all sides for the Fighting Irish this season. He scored 17 points against Macaulay and 21 points against Hamilton Heights last week. BJ's a quick shooter and deadly when going up against at the basket. Another thing he is great at is steals. MUS is going to need to stay focused and keep turnovers to a minimum to try and ground Catholic early. I'm Ethan Price. Alongside me tonight is Paul Fisher. Paul, thanks for joining me here today.
Yeah, I'm super excited and happy to be here. Be sure to stay tuned for interviews at the end of game and at halftime. Now we'll take down to a presentation by Presley Patterson and Coach Hutch.
Now they give it back to Warren. One back to Kane. And this is one thing Catholic's really strong on. If the shot's not there, don't take it. Find an open teammate. Keep the possession going, and Patterson with another three.
Exactly. They do just that. We saw a shot wasn't open. We pass the ball around a few more times, and then we find the open shot, and Presley Patterson will deliver.
Welcome back to the sports segment of the Irish Media Network, and we are going to tip off with some March Madness talk because the championship was last night.
But before we get into that, let's get into the biggest upsets of this year's tournament. North Carolina making it all the way to the national championship game. Before we get into that, let's get into the Final Four matchups.
Right. Those were all incredible games, I thought. Quite a night. The first game, though, of the evening was the number 2 seed Villanova playing the number 1 seed Kansas. Kansas, who we did see in the championship as well. But before that, I really thought that this game was kind of back and forth match. I thought we saw a lot of strong plays from both sides.
Yeah, I think the real difference maker in that game was just Kansas getting out to that fast 10-0 start. And then, they just kind of cruised it on into the finish, led by Ochag Baji and David McCormack. They just played terrific that game.
Right. I think Villanova had some good plays. They were able to shoot some threes. They were able to get some rebounds. But in the end, it just wasn't enough. They always felt like they were one step behind Kansas. But we also want to move on to the championship games that happened last night.
Yeah, the big game, the game for all the marbles. Coach Bill Self of Kansas versus first-year head coach, might I add, Hubert Davis for North Carolina. That was a great game. Kansas, once again, getting off to a strong start, 7-0. But, North Carolina, they came roaring back in that first half.
I agree. I thought this first half was more one-sided than anything else. We saw North Carolina kind of steal the game. We saw that they had, 22 points off of second attempts, which means they were out-rebounding Kansas the entire first half. And when you're out-rebounded, I'm not sure there's really much you can do about that. I also noticed Kansas was playing a lot more of a spread defense. That was a lot harder to control against North Carolina, and I think that was kind of a factor as to why North Carolina was up 15 at halftime. Welcome back, but now we're going to switch things over to some football talk. We want to talk about the upcoming draft as well as a couple of top picks. You know, I do agree with that. We kind of see that they don't have much competition playing there at Liberty. Another quarterback I want to take a look at who I think definitely has potential to do a lot in the league is Matt Corral. He improved his decision-making with the ball. He improved his ball placement, and he cut down on his interceptions, only having 5 last year compared to the 14 that he had. I think, honestly, that kind of shows the growth and maturity he's had as a player, both mentally and physically, despite his injury. I think that's an interesting point you brought up, just the rule change, how that could just take them over the hump, considering they were there. This is one of the best Bills teams we've seen in a really long time. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did end up going. Who I'm going to take, though, is the defending champions. The LA Rams not only came off a great Super Bowl winning season, but they've had an incredible offseason. They've brought in new players, including Bobby Wagner on that defense. I think he's really going to be a standout guy on the defense, considering he had such a great career with the Seahawks. I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done playing. He's going to be a big factor for the Rams, and I can see the Rams going all the way again, back to back.
So you mentioned the Seahawks. You know who just got the Seahawks quarterback?
Denver Broncos did, yes. I'm not going to quite say that they're Super Bowl contenders, but AFC Championship contenders? Maybe, hopefully in that regard. But I think we're going to head over to Morgan and see what she thinks about the upcoming Super Bowl.